so excited for the podcast today. And there's many things that happen when we're doing the podcast, and Melanie and Marie-Pierre will agree. No matter how old you are, it obliges us to ask ourselves, oh, where this is where it comes from. Like there's so many things. And that's exactly what this podcast did for me today. Is I'm going to bring you somewhere that I don't think I've brought anybody there before, Marie-Pierre. I don't think so. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see what it's about. So welcome to the Millionaire of the Diamonds. The podcast is for people like us that want to be always a better version of themselves. So good morning, Martin Noel. He's the first that shows up in my screen. Can't wait to see you on Saturday. I'm hoping you'll stay for the French and English. Olga, is Olga with us on Saturday? Is she with us? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Not sure.
Virtual, yeah, but not with us in
virtual,
this.
yes. Anyways, if you haven't registered for the podcast, for the conference, little side note. So last night, the team practiced or rehearsed. I'm going to say more rehearsed the conference. Melanie Miller starts. I'm bawling my eyes out. Then we go to Sylvain Lalonde, bawling my eyes out. Then we go to Jean-Philippe Jacques. You missed it, Melanie, because you had to go do your sale. So everything was good. And then he started going into the Mustang, starts crying. I start crying again. And then Marie-Pierre, back to reality.
Enough crying.
Enough crying. And then she got me thinking, what's going to be my 5 degree? I have to do that exercise before Saturday, Marie. Okay, you're coming tonight, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you coming tonight? I gotta do your exercise before Saturday. Okay, I really have to do that. I gotta figure that out. Anyways, this is the podcast. And what I did in the mastermind before we came live with you guys. I see Lise is there. I see Louise is there. Welcome, guys. I don't see the English gang. Melanie Miller, right to them. Oh, James is there. Okay, yeah. Thank you, James, for reminding me. The crew is in the house. Monique, Kendra, Carolyn. Okay, so who are we missing? We're missing... Oh, sorry, guys. I get distracted by the comments. Sherry, text her. Sherry, where are you? Okay. So anyways, I was talking with, there's Sherry. There's Sherry. Morning. Good morning. Talking with Sylvain and Jean-Philippe and Marie-Pierre. And I was saying to them, there's no such thing in life as this is good enough. And Melanie, I want you to hear me carefully. Okay. If you don't do what you are doing right now, and I hope Alan's going to listen to me. Okay. What's going to happen? You're going to revert to the Melanie that maybe doubted herself, or maybe we are human beings, and Melanie's going to cover it more in the first segment, where everything is defined by our own paradigms. So I'm using a little bit of Stephen Covey paradigms. He uses other words in the book. So we're measuring everything through our glasses. So what personal development does, it helps us to take off these glasses, Melanie, and put on a new set of glasses to see differently. But what happens if I stop the podcast? If I stop being in my Tupperware world, you know what's going to happen to Maria Mariano? I'm going to become that person I was 40 years ago before I started. It's just the way human nature is. So it's like going to the gym. If you stop going to the gym, you're going to revert back to what you were. Anyways, so the podcast is amazing. Today, expect to have an aha moment of what it means to think and grow rich. But before we dive in, we're going to go over to you, Marie-Pierre.
Yes, so first thing to do is to share the podcast this morning. So click on the arrow just beside where you write your comment, so you can share on every social media platform, and you have the text in the comment that you can copy paste it so people understand why they should listen to the podcast this morning. But you will see that when you click on the arrow, you can also send it by messenger or text message. That is for the people that you really want them to listen to the podcast this morning. That's the best way to make sure they will click on the link, send it by messenger or text message. Then we have our contest, Les Millionnaires de Diamants. So first, when you go on our Facebook group, Les Millionnaires des Diamants Inspirational Group. Every time that you post, every time that you comment, or you react of one of the posts, you gain point during the month to be in the top 10 contributor. And at the end of the month, the official top 10 get a voucher to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants and top 10 month to date. So again, it's at the end of the month, the official, but top 10 month to date. We have number 10, Nathalie Brochu, number 9, Sherry Novak, number 8, Agnès Joseph Laquelle, number 7, Melanie Kokolas, number 6, Sammy, so number 5, CKA Motivation, number 4, Lise Boucher, number 3, Sikendra Sefingassel, number 2, Louise Gauthier, and number 1, Martin Noel. So congratulations to our top 10 month to date. Again, you have until the end of the month to be in the official top 10. Then we have a draw at the end of each month. To be in the draw, there's two ways. First, with the boutique. So when you place your order, you take a picture. You're receiving your order, you take a picture, and you post on social media, and you tag Marie Moreno and Emiela Les Diamants to be in the draw. And same thing with the books, Emiela Les Diamants. So you just receive one of the books, you take your picture. You're reading one of the book, you take a picture. You're doing one of the quiz book, you take a picture. You're doing one of the workbook, you take a picture. You're using your agenda, you take a picture. So every day you can have a new picture to post on social media, and always tag Marie Moreno and Emiela Les Diamants to be in the draw at the end of the month. And if you don't already have your ticket for this weekend, the conference,
It's
you
gonna be
still have
good.
time.
It's gonna be good.
You still have time until tomorrow night. You can get your ticket to be with us on Saturday virtually or on site. So if you want to be in the studio with us, there are still 8 places left. So just send me a message after you get your ticket that you want to be with us in the studio, and I will add you to the group of people with us. Yeah.
Did you count the spouses? Because when you say there's 8 places left, don't
Yeah.
forget they're all coming with the husbands.
Yeah, Pauline and Louise. There's 2 that is coming with their husband. Yeah.
They're all
Oh, everyone! Voila! So click on the link and get your ticket to be with us on Saturday.
okay. Just by the way, I gotta thank Marie Pierre, Melanie Miller, and Martin Noel. He did a reel of opening the agenda, coloring the agenda. Like Martin, thank you so much. Reels. Did you see the reach? Like within minutes, he was at over 500 views on his reel. So I think we need to do a challenge. Make a reel why they should join or listen to the Millionaire of the Diamonds. Thank you, Martin. This is going to be the new challenge. All right, so let's dive in. Let's dive in. Think and grow rich. Determination, desire, and the measure of possibilities. This podcast exists for one reason, my friends, to help you and me, not the world, you and me, to stop measuring our lives by what we see through these lenses. We need to be able to decide for the future with and a different set of lenses and not where we're coming from. And you'll get all of today after we've all did our segment. So our vision is simple and yet demanding to develop men and women who think independently. And you'll see I'm bringing up my mom today. Act deliberately and build wealth through clarity. Oh my God, that's going to be Melanie Miller's subject on Saturday. Courage and persistence. So Napoleon Hill says that one of the greatest everything and everyone by our own impressions and our own beliefs. In other words, we judge what's possible based on what we understand. And sometimes I think of you, Melanie Miller, with a doctorate's degree. It must be so hard to understand so much and deal with people that understand so little. Like sometimes, what did they say? When you don't know a lot, it's bliss, like it's better. Oh, it must be so hard. So where you're measuring everything by that. So and this is exactly why so many people miss greatness when it's standing right in front of them. Henry Ford was told repeatedly that what he wanted wasn't possible, an 8-cylinder engine in one solid block. It couldn't be done. The engineer said no. Time passed, actually a year passed and more. Nothing was working. It just didn't work. And Henry Ford answered with one sentence: produce it anyway, stay on the job until you succeed. That's not stubbornness, that's desire with a decision. As we talk in our Tupperware world, it's called the decision of the vision, and you must stand firm in it. But before I read this book or this segment for the fourth time, and it's the first time that I had this aha moment, I realized that I had a Henry Ford in my life way back, and my Henry Ford's name back then was called Adelina Mariano. That was my mom. In 1970, my mother arrived in the late 60s. She arrived to Canada in 1970. She started selling Tupperware. She didn't speak French, English, read, or write. Didn't matter. And yet she knew something with absolute certainty. She was going to use this Tupperware platform to become a multimillionaire. And I remember that rally I went to with her. I was 6 years old. How can you not remember women being put sashes on like Miss America and being pinned dollar bills, $2 bills, $5 bills, and number one, back in the days, had pinned on her 20 bills of $100. That crystallized in my mother's head. She didn't try to make it all the way to the top. She didn't hope she'd make it all the way to the top. She knew. People looked at her, and when I say people, my dad, her brother Carlo from Italy, her brother Gino right here, her mother that they made her come to Canada here to stop her from selling Tupperware because this was a business at night, and you know what kind of women went out at night. Whoa, everything was measured by their beliefs. This woman, my mom, this immigrant, this illiterate person, she stood uh, solid in what she believed. She had what now I will call the Henry Ford resolve. Is that good enough? I think that's good enough. Did you notice I'm talking to myself? And that was that desire, knowing exactly what she wanted. And once that desire is clear, time becomes irrelevant, opinion becomes just noise, and obstacles become temporary. 1976, 6 years later, Adelina was a millionaire. She said to my dad, I have something to show you. You see, as a little girl in Italy, and if you see where I come from, literally, we go back over 100 years. And if you see that little tiny apartment, my parents got married and they lived, and I'm looking like this because it's this little tiny apartment still there. Every time I go, I always say, oh my God, I was born in that little tiny apartment. My mother visualized this villa, palazzo, call it whatever you want, with marble and porcelain ceramic, and I could go on and on and on. And in 1976, no schooling, no privilege, no approval, she said to my dad, I want you to come with me. I have something to show you. She showed him this house, $96,000 back in the days. Might be wrong, doesn't matter, just a detail. And my father says, oh, we don't have the means of this. And she said, I asked you if you wanted to buy it. I said, would we live in this house together as a family? My brother was going to be born in September. They moved in May of 1976 in that home. And my father was blown away because she made one single check, $96,000, and bought that home. Can you imagine just in mortgage fees, interest rates, rather, I should say, that she saved? So this determination, this absolute determination is what made her successful. Henry Ford is not the story about engine. It's about consciousness. It's about what do I want? My mother didn't wait to look successful, to think like a millionaire, or what she did, or to be understood. No, what she did was clear. I want this, and I want it now. Anyways, I'm back in 76 now. Sorry, guys. Okay. And she went for it. And you have to know, I was raised in a home where yelling was an everyday ritual. They were always fighting, always yelling. But at the end of the day, that Henry Ford determination, not because he was smarter, not because he has better engineers, it was exactly like my mom, simply unwilling to surrender their desire to other people's doubts. Mesdames et messieurs, I love Henry Ford. I love my mother. I love my dad. Just different stories, right? So I'm going to leave you in the hands of Melanie Miller so you can actually take down some notes.
Thank you very much, Maria. And I too enjoy reading about Henry Ford. Last week, I told you the story of Henry Ford and how he asked his engineers to produce something that they were convinced was impossible. What Ford exposed wasn't a mechanical limitation, it was a mental one. Ford was not a once in a century anomaly. You've already heard Maria's mother had exactly the same mindset. History is full of people who encountered experts, authorities, and peers who confidently explained why something couldn't be done. You've probably met them in your own life. The people, when you suggest that you want to do something, and their immediate reaction is to give you lots of reasons why you can't. One of the most striking examples comes from a completely different field to Henry Ford, and that is Walt Disney. From the very beginning, Disney's career was marked by rejection, failure, and repeated warnings to be more realistic. His first animation company failed. He lost control of one of his early successful characters. At times, he was broke, borrowing money, sleeping in his office, and starting again from almost nothing. Even as his career progressed, the pattern continued. Banks said no. Investors said no. Advisors urged caution, restraint, and compromise. The clearest example came with Disneyland. At the time, the idea of building a clean, immersive family theme park, not a traveling fair or carnival, was considered wildly impractical. Experts said people wouldn't travel for it. Financiers said it was too expensive, too risky, and too idealistic. Disney was encouraged to scale it down, to make it smaller, to make it safer. He refused. Instead, he put his own finances on the line, used revenue from television projects, and pushed forward with the vision he already saw clearly in his mind. When Disneyland opened, it wasn't perfect, but it worked. And in doing so, it permanently changed entertainment, tourism, and the idea of what was possible in that industry. Disney did not succeed because he never failed. He succeeded because he never allowed failure, expert opinion, or repeated rejection to define the limits of his belief. He was not put off by the naysayers. This is where Walt Disney and Henry Ford meet. Ford refused to accept a technical impossibility. Disney refused to accept creative impossibility. Different worlds, same principle. Both men listened to experts. Both men heard confident explanations of why something couldn't be done. And then both men made the same decision. They chose not to adopt their limits as those limits as their own. This is precisely why Napoleon Hill opens Think and Grow Rich with Henry Ford. He is introducing the first and most damaging weakness of human beings, the habit of placing limitations on ourselves, often borrowed from others, and then living as though those limits are facts. The moment we accept someone else's certainty about what is impossible, we stop thinking and we stop growing. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with Marie-Pierre, who's going to, for sure, give us a quiz this morning.
Absolutely. We have the quiz this morning. So the quiz this morning will help you to see your own paradigm. So do you have that habit of always measuring everything through your own limited paradigm, your own experience, your own education, your own fears, your own past result? So the quiz will help you to see where you confuse your vision with reality, or where you dismiss opportunity too quickly because of your vision, or where your paradigm may be shrinking your future. So again, you want to answer honestly, because the quiz is not about having the right or the wrong answer, but it's about awareness. So it's not a test of intelligence, but it's a mirror to see where you are right now. So this morning, for each question, you can answer A, B, C, or D. So let's start with question number one. So when someone shares an idea that you don't understand, what do you usually do? A, you dismiss it quickly. B, you feel skeptical. C, you ask a cautious question. Or D, you stay curious. Question number two. When you hear about someone succeeding in a way that you've never seen it before, what do you think? A, that wouldn't work for me. B, they must be different. C, I wonder how they did that. Or D, maybe I could learn this. Question number three. At work, when a new method challenges the way that you've always done things, do you A, resist it, B, compare it to past failure, C, test it carefully, or D, stay open to change? Question number four. In family discussion, so when someone sees life differently than you, do you A, shut down the idea, B, defend your point strongly, C, try to understand their view, or D, accept multiple perspectives? And question number five, in social settings, so when people dream bigger than you, do you think that A, they're unrealistic, B, they're naive, C, they're ambitious, or D, they help you expanding your vision? So did you get mostly A's, mostly B's, mostly C's, or mostly D's? So if you have mostly A, you have strong paradigm lock. So you evenly measure life through your own experience and past result. So your paradigm feels safe, but it may limit your growth. So you want to begin questioning those assumptions and not just the outcome. Now, if you have mostly B, you have that paradigm tension. So you sense there may be more, but fear that an habit will still influence your decision. So you often pause when the certainty is missing. So you want to build that tolerance for uncertainty and a familiar success path to help you grow. Then, if you have mostly C's, you are in the paradigm expansion. So you're actively stretching beyond your old belief. You don't reject new idea, but you still want reassurance. So your focus will be to practice acting before full understanding will appear, because it's usually appear after. And if you have mostly D, you are the paradigm breaker. So you understand that teaching that reality is not limited by your personal experience. So you want to make sure that you guard this mindset, because it's the foundation of the wealth creation. So 3 points to help you expand your paradigm. Number one, you want to borrow other people's lenses. So listen to those who see what you can't see yet. Number two, okay, you cannot see Maria, but she's so funny. I won't show it. I won't show it. Oh, but wait. Okay, number two, you want to stop using past result as ceiling. So yesterday limit are not today's law. And number three, you want to watch your language. So words like never, always, and impossible will reveal your paradigm. So it's limiting paradigm. So you want to make sure that you watch your language to help you grow out of those paradigms. So remember, your paradigm is not truth, but it's only your current point of view. So it's something that you can change with time. So on that, I wish you a beautiful day. Again, if you don't have already your ticket, make sure that you click on the link to be with us on Saturday, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for the next podcast. Bye.